Hello, guys. It is me. I'm here to read a book that I wrote and have been writing for a while. This is going to be a part of a series of videos, so stay tuned to watch the later videos. And this is just me going to be reading it as an audiobook. So let's get started. Blood Lake, Book 1, written and drawn by me. This book is dedicated to my dad, Dewey Montez. These are all the credits, and this is the prelude. This all started when the Halloween festival was occurring. The bald guy from last night's party was at it again. He dressed up and went as a zombie this time. Last year he was an undead skeleton, with red shoelaces hanging from the outside bone structure to simulate leftover tendons from its death. He was having a phenomenal time drinking beer and spilling it everywhere. He tried to get it into his mouth from a foot away, to no avail. It got all the way down his zombie costume and into his pants. His friends were jumping out of trees and landing on unsuspecting tables. They still had people's items on them. After the drink, the guy meandered away and some of the horses from a nearby pen escaped. They were coming towards him, the keeper of the horses following close behind, yelling at them to get back. The horses knocked the bald man down and then viciously trampled him to the edges of his death. He could barely stand, for his ribs and legs were broken. The guy screamed and grunted at the horses and his drunken voice, or maybe it was from the pain. But they paused for a second, cocked their heads, giving a brutal neck-cracking sound, and then trampled him to death, just after he let out a blood-curdling scream that echoed half a mile through the forest. The party evacuated and told the police, giving cryptic clues about the king. The next day, when police investigated, all of the horses had blood around their lips and the body was nowhere to be found. The only thing left over was some cloth from the costume. Search crews and forensic scientists flooded their location as soon as the word had gotten out of a missing person. They had found the bloody costume cloth, then they analyzed the blood from the cloth and what was found around the horse's lips. It was a match. The horses ate him. The way that sounded coming from Mom sounded like even she was hesitant to get it out. Ate, that word, resounded in my head as if my brain did not want to accept it as a fact. We will be camping at Blood Lake for the next week. Chapter 1. Off to camp. We waited a long time until we arrived. I couldn't really tell how long because I was playing on my tablet most of the time. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz, the song in the car sang. A while later, we pulled up in a dirt road and drove on a little while longer. We reached a pay to enter, completely made of glass. It took a while to figure it out with the woman, but we ended up continuing. As we drove on, I looked back to see the pay to enter empty. We knew there was a parking lot, but the location was really far. We had been driving on for about 5 hours. I began to believe it was never going to end. I turned on my tablet and started playing music. The music was turned up and playing louder this time. I did not like the song, and I put on my headphones. We drove on while I was playing my games. I looked up and saw the parking lot ahead. It seemed to emit a heavenly glow. As we approached, a feeling of unreasonable dread got stronger and stronger aside from the heavenly feel of finally being there. As we entered, the power went out and everything stood frozen for a few seconds. "Aw, what happened?" Mom said, walking over to the power box. "The power tripped. We can't do anything." "That just makes it seem a whole lot more like camping," I said. We got out, and we started to set up the camper. The camper was set up in about an hour. The table? Check. The chairs? Check. This went on for a couple of minutes. I played on my tablet for a while until there was a loud knock on the door. I shifted my headphones half off and looked at the door. Knowing I would not see who was there, I looked out the window. Nothing still. I realized a few seconds later it sounded louder and higher up on the door than any person could go, even if they were really tall. Sounded like someone was knocking a small wooden stump on the door. My mom opened the door. Chapter 2. The Visitor. What was standing there was not human at all. Well, at least one half wasn't. Or maybe it was just a really good-looking costume. The other half of it was horse. The way it stood with its head sideways scared us all. It looked like his neck had been broken. "What do you want?" Mom finally stammered out. "Is it today the costume party or something?" The thing stood there for a moment and then lunged at the door, knocking it closed. We could see all of this out the window. "That guy was weird," said Jonah. "What was he dressed up as? A Horman? Or a half horse?" Jonah did not have enough time to think of the actual word, but it managed to stick. The strange thing was that after the door closed, the creature was still running into it, trying to knock it down. Then its floppy head tilted and looked in through the window. "Oh crap," I said. Nobody actually knew or what or how this thing got into its costume, but all of us almost had wet pants. The story Mom told us. All we were trying to do was keep that thing out of here. Everybody stared at it unblinkingly, and I was the only person who came up with the weird idea to hide. I said it out loud just as I noticed it was pretty stupid. I was going to say something along the lines of, "Guys, just ask him why he's here," but everyone had already hidden while the Horman was trying to get in. The Horman looked in through the window. I got into my hiding spot as well. I lay down below the bed while the thing looked in through the window and grunted an inhuman noise and then left. I think because he didn't see anybody. We decided to keep the silly word as Horman, in a way to make fun of Jonah. Outside it started to snow lightly. "No going back," I said. "The way into Blood Lake is about 70 miles away." All we could do was stay inside and play games. "No more outside time," I said in a jokey voice. I looked out the window, but everyone else had already beaten me to it. The landscape was beautiful. The pretty mountains in the background, the trees, and the lightly spread snow on them. But there was no point staying here. Mom opened the door to find a little note there. It was slightly covered in snow. In creepy letters that seemed broken and written like it took a very long time to look as nice as possible, it said, "They feast." Those words, did they refer to the Hormans? Mom went to the truck and saw that it was growing dark. She hurried. While Mom was trying to get into the truck, I started looking at the bushes. There were horses' heads peeking out. "Hurry up," I thought. "We need to go." The Hormans emerged and were creeping towards us. One of their mouths opened almost 180 degrees to reveal a bloody throat mangled and spurting instead of another person's face. The throat pulsed in a downward motion gently. This terrified me. The creature let out a faint gurgly crack, releasing tiny blood droplets that would land on the leaves of the bush. "Don't come," I thought, giving up hope. Floppy heads dangling, they got closer and closer. I got a look at where the top half of the horse fused with the bottom half. This was not a costume. Mom was in the unprotected truck, thinking that these things are just crazy people. And that is the end of the video. So, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you for chapter 3. Stay tuned for the rest of the book.